Buongiorno. So, I hope you can see me. I don't see you, but I know you are there somewhere. So, and I hope also you like stories, because what I'm going to tell you it's a wonderful story. So it's the story of Kartell. Kartell is an iconic brand. It's an iconic manufacturer. It's an Italian company. It's an Italian brand, and everything started in 1949. The company was founded by a couple, a husband and a wife. Mr. Castelli, he was an engineer. Anna Castelli, the wife. Anna Castelli, she's the first woman to become an architect in Italy. In Italy, and I always like to underline the date, 1949. So we have no idea what does it mean. It means 4 years after the end of Second World War. So an extremely challenging moment for Europe and Italy. But these two kids, they were very young at that time, 25 years old, they had this vision of creating a company, an industrial design company. So here I'm already dropping some fundamental concept in the Kartell vision. So industrialization. So back in the days, plastic was an extremely innovative material, was new, was something unthinkable. Plastic was able to give freedom to the designer to design whatever shape. There were no limitation given by wood, glass, metal, and was affordable. So Mr. Castelli, he knew how to use this material, and the wife, Anna Castelli, was an extremely talented architect and designer. And since the beginning, they focused their attention on putting in production objects for everyday use, ordinary life, but with this material, this new material. And there was also, I would say, even a political vision to make nice objects affordable for the women, for wives, for everybody. So in this nice picture, there are some decided to founder Anna and his husband, and also Joe Ponti and other extremely iconic, extremely famous designer, that start working with Kartell, because also another aspect, and still is actual for us. We consider ourselves an open company. So we don't have, technically, we don't even have an art director. So there is a constant collaboration between the family and a group of international designers. And it's really a group. We're working with 20, 25 designers from all over the world, and we have a very strong relation with them. So maybe on the next slide we can, so as I said, as I started from before, there are some aspects that are fundamental for Kartell, because Kartell, like other brands, is there's a vision, there are cultural value behind the company, and as I said, it's a combination of evolution, innovation, creativity, and technology, which it's a very complex concept, because and you are starting your career as interior designer, and I also would like to make a connection between Kartell creativity and also the BIOriginal concept. For example, in your career, you will face this challenge. Do we need another chair? Do we need another table? Do we need another table? Or do I have the budget for this chair? Do we have the budget for this table? Maybe not. No problem. But you can, no matter what, be original. You can be innovative. So there are so many selections. You can design your own chair, or you can shop around. So when we start the company, the evolution, so starting from existing object and playing with this material and giving redesign the way you can use the product. For example, Kartell has been the first company in the world to design a chair for kids. What's the big deal? Well, apparently no one thought about making a chair for kids. And this because the material, this because the capacity of these two young entrepreneurs to have a completely different vision. And as I said, industrial design. So in Kartell, in the 50s till now, when we start a collaboration with a designer, for us, it's extremely important that we are not going to put in production a single piece. So every time we think products in terms of thousands for the masses, for a wide distribution. So let's go to the next slide. So here, for example, we underline these bullet points: the new materials, technological innovation, design, and industrial production, and sustainability. So these concepts are the pillar of Kartell in the 50s until now. Kartell now is a 71 years old company. We are extremely actual. Why we are actual? Because we kept the vision. We kept our vision very straight. So new materials. Yes, because we started in the 50s using, as I said, plastic material, a kind of plastic material which was ABS. Nowadays, and you will see in the other slide, we are constantly investing in new materials like bioplastic, organic plastic, recycled plastic, wood. Now we have a new collection made of wood. But also here, why we decide to add to our catalog a wood collection? What's the connection between wood and our origins? The technology behind this collection. Also here, a collection designed by Philippe Starck, a designer with whom we have a very strong relation. And the wood collection is it's a pattern. It's a specific pattern where we can use wood coming from certified forest. We can mold the wood, okay, so we can shape the wood as if it was plastic. So we are able to obtain chairs sitting in an absolutely unique way. So this is why we are doing this. So we are still with this passion. So industrial production, I think we already talk about industrial production. Sustainability. Sustainability is a concept that is extremely important for Kartell, not only for Kartell, but also for us. There is this stigma on the plastic material. It's important that you know that Kartell, when we say Kartell loves the planet, it's a concept. Kartell is a Green Guard certified company, which means that the entire process is controlled by this inspector, is certified. So from the packaging, the industrial process, where our manufacturing, so they control everything. They control the emission, they control how we recycle the products, if our products are recycled. So also here, there is a constant research. So design is not, it's extremely important for you to understand that design is not only designing a product. Nowadays, the full cycle is fundamental. Design, the product, the kind of material, the packaging, how you're going to move it around the world. So the impact, the footprint of your products on the environment, because maybe you're using the wrong packaging or the wrong material. So we started 70 years old with this value, and we always keep we always update them. We keep alive our dream. Let's put it in this way. Adding the emotion. Okay, and maybe because we are Italian, but not only for that, but there is, of course, there must be a strong aesthetic component. Of course, I mean, you can design a wonderful product, but has to be aesthetically, there must be some you have to enjoy it. I mean, there's the aesthetic also that is important, and we have. And then you will see this slide of this flash of the store in the 50s, in the 80s, and nowadays. So the aesthetic has been always important, and the way you can play with your customer, consumer, designer, the way we play with the colors, the way we play with the finishing. So it's something that the glamour and the emotion is an important component, and it's part of a project. It's not just, okay, let's do it for fun. Everything is planned. Everything is part of a vision. So here, for example, you can see some of the design. So on the top, so on my right, well, the oldest lady is Anna Castelli. So Anna Castelli, as I said, is she was the founder. The husband, they were partners. So they were not just the wife. She was 50% shareholders of the company. She was a very talented architect. She designed some products designed by Anna Castelli are still nowadays not only part of our catalog, but some of our bestsellers. And then we have Philippe Starck. So okay, sorry, one second. Philippe Starck, and Philippe Starck, I just want to underline our relation with Philippe Starck. Philippe Starck and our actual president, part of the family, they have a very strong connection. Why there is this strong connection between Claudio Lutti and Philippe Starck? Because Philippe Starck, like our actual president, he's a designer with a, I would say, 360-degree vision of a product. Philippe Starck, when he designed a product, is always a project. By project, I mean there is the aesthetical part, then he does a lot of research on materials, new technology. So he always comes to us with the product and the technical solution. So, like, for example, the transparency, when he designed La Marine, so he had the vision of using polycarbonate and using transparency. So it took 3 years before finding the solution, finding the right technical solution to put it in production. But after that experience, Claudio and Philippe Starck became really good friends. And even now, when you see them working together, they don't even talk. Drawings, ideas, and then when Mr. Lutti says success, it means that the product has been approved. And it's really interesting to see how these two minds work together. And then the other picture, there is, it's a group of Tocogin, Ferruccio Laviani, Mr. Lutti, some of our designers. Now, in this video that we're showing you, it's this is a wonderful product. This is a Bourget. I'm sure that you know this product. It's one of our iconic lights designed by Ferruccio Laviani. And also here, for example, we go back to some of the value of the company. So in this case, we are playing with transparency. It's a light. First, it's a light. So as I said, Kartell has been the first company in the world to manufacture lights using plastic. In this case, we are playing with the transparency. So when playing with the effect, because I love light. I mean, I started my career in a lighting company, so I still have a soft spot for lights. So when you play with the light, it's important to see the effect, not only the effect of the light, but of the shadows, which are even more important than the light. And with this diffuser, the way it breaks the light, it's really, I mean, for me, it's pure magic. And it's still an extremely actual product. And also here is the reinvention of super classic lights, the French light, with the diffuser, the steam, 3 bulbs, but this is still contemporary lights. I think we can start the video where we will see playing with different effects, going back to the emotion, for example. Perfect. Magnifica. Magnifica. Okay. So here, for example, in this slide, so we're going back to some basic concept, as I told you before. So there are three moments in the evolution of the company from a design and technology. So in the 50s, basic plastic material. So I mean, all of you probably use maybe your grandparents' house, this plastic, yellow, green, red, blue, very strong, color. Um, in the 90s, there was the innovation of transparency. And this innovation was introduced, as I said, by the vision of Philippe Starck and Claudio Botti. So when Philippe Starck had this idea, this is the new material, this plastic material, the polycarbonate that has been introduced for the windows of the bank. So that was the main use of that material. And Philippe Starck had the idea of using the polycarbonate for molding a chair with this plastic, with this transparent effect. At the beginning, it was a disaster. So the first transparent chair, the market didn't like it. So the people, I remember, well, I don't remember, they told me, people coming to Salone, which is the Salone del Mobile, is the biggest furniture show in Milano. And they were skeptical, they didn't like it, they were afraid that the chair wasn't strong enough or something really unsafe. But no matter what, both Philippe Starck and Mr. Lutti, they didn't give up, so they keep insisting in investing in how to use this material with different declination. And it's there when Philippe Starck decided, unfortunately we don't have a picture right now, you will see at the end, the Loose Ghost, which is for sure, absolutely our most iconic chair. Also here, a chair from the 15th century using a contemporary material, and then was still now is one of our most sold chair in the world. And but we didn't stop. So right now, as I said, in these last 10 years, we keep investing in how we can use new materials, and also the values are changing because the world is changing. Nowadays, in the last 10, 15 years, we are having this, all of us, we're having this conversation, and now it's getting bigger and more important, this conversation of sustainability. So the materials, so no longer just the aesthetic, but the materials is a fundamental part of the project. The moment I decide to use a specific material, I'm making a political decision. So I decide to use wood from a certified forest. It's wood, but it's a certified forest. So I know that every time they cut a tree, they will plant 2 other trees. I can use plastic in a way that can be recycled. I can design the packaging in a way that can be recycled, and I'm using new materials. So the research, it's, as I said, it's getting complex. It's not just designing an object. So on the next one, okay, here is...
Hey, DJ, it's
yes.
Beth. I have a question for you.
Sure.
What made you go into design?
Okay, it's a long story. No, it's not a long story, but it's a nice, well, it's a story. So I reinvented my career when I was around 40 years old. Okay, so my background, I always been a sales manager, export manager. And I was in the tabletop business, fork, knives, this kind of business in the mass market. And then at one point, I was, tired of selling products where the only argument was the price. The price. So we were closing or losing deals just based on the price. There was no innovation. There was nothing. Okay. And of course, I wasn't working for a brand like Alessia. So as I said, very inexpensive products. I would personally, I always loved art. I'm an art, me and my wife, we are art collector. So I like aesthetic with a value. And as I said, when I was 40 years old, I resigned from my job. I started working, so I was already a general manager, so I went back to the role of area manager for Luceplan. So Luceplan, it's a lighting company based in Milano. So I started working for them as an area manager, and I was lucky to start working when the company was still owned by the architect Sarfatti, the founder of the company, and he gave me really, he gave me the vision. He gave me the way how to read the design products, and it's like art for me. So design it's like art. There is an object, and there is a meaning. There are values. There's different way of looking at a product. So I started in this way. At one point, I said, okay, I want to do something that is more interesting. I need the passion. For me, it's I think it's linked with passion and cultural value.
You know, passion is clear. It comes through. And you were at Kartell at one point. You left Kartell and then you came back. Why did you come back?
Yeah. Well, I was in Kartell for 4 years, 2010 and 2014, okay? And I was having a lot of fun. Then I've been approached by another design group, and because I'm a curious person, okay? So I was curious, was an interesting, I won't mention the name, but there was an interesting project, interesting brands, so it was a challenge. And I said, okay, why not? So I did this with Kartell, so I can do it with other companies. So I worked for these people for 4 years. And then in 2018, I think, or 17, I was in Germany, and I met the, Mr. Lutti, the president of Kartell, and we started to talk about America, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And just a 5 minute talk. We were walking. And then the day after, the CFO of the company called me and said, okay, they told me that you're coming back. I said, I don't remember having this conversation with the Mr. Lutti. I said, no, Mr. Lutti said that you are coming back. So and because Kartell was, they call me back because we are working on a new project, not only in terms of product, but also in terms how to approach the market, because this is also another important aspect for you, that you are tomorrow you will be designer, you already are designer. It's you cannot ignore the market. So there is a balance always between, sometimes we have people that come with these incredible, crazy ideas. If the market is not ready, because it's a combination, the vision and the reality, okay? So because only visionary is not, it doesn't work. So there is a vision, there's a reality, and it's an incredible combination between the designer, the creativity, the company, it's really it's really interesting. So when I decided to come back, because there is a new project, so we are approaching the market in a completely different way with also wood products. So 3 years ago, he told me, I'm going to introduce a wood collection. I'm going to introduce a new material, bioplastic material. So I thought, okay, I like it, I love it. So let's go back.
So
Yes.
now we'd love to hear about these three beautiful images that we're looking at.
Yes, so here, for example, you can have, I mean, at least for me, it's clear, a sort of, let's say, I wouldn't say evolution, because in the word evolution, because of our cultural background, we always give a positive value to evolution. Evolution not necessarily is positive, okay? But here we have an evolution in terms of how Kartell has been able to read the changing of the cultural environment. So this is Macy's, okay, 1988. So, and unfortunately it's black and white, but this picture, I mean, is a bunch of blue, yellow, green, acid, I mean, very, very strong colors. And there are, the lights, two of these lights are designed by Anna Castelli Ferrieri. So objects, also the shape are very square, round. I mean, it's vintage for sure, even it's only 1988. Then New York flagship store. Also here, for example, going back to the distribution, Kartell has been the first company in the furniture business, in the high-end furniture business, not to invent, to invest on flagship store. So if I have a few minutes, our actual president, you have to know that our actual president, Mr. Claudio Ruti, he bought Kartell from his parents-in-law. So he married the daughter of Anna Castelli, an engineer. When he bought Kartell, he was already a very successful businessman because Mr. Claudio Ruti, he was the main shareholders of the Versace group, the fashion brand. So he founded Versace together with Gianni Versace. So in 85, I think, 83, 85, something like that, he sold all his shares back to the Versace family. And with part of the cash, he bought Kartell. And he was so smart, and I'm not saying this because he's my president, but we have a deep respect for the man because he could have the arrogance. Okay, I'm already successful. I buy this company and I do whatever I want. Okay, big mistake. So he was so smart that he kept alive the vision of the founders. So innovation, technology, industrial design, adding the emotion and the glamour of the fashion. So he started to position, and Kartell in the 80s was already a strong brand, but probably not enough glamorous, okay? So for example, after he bought Kartell, he opened New York, Soho. So we have a store in Soho since more than 25 years, okay? And 25 years ago, Soho wasn't that glamorous. So we opened in Miami, in the design district, 20 years ago. We opened a store in London, Paris, and of course, Milano. So in the capital of the fashion. And he told me that everybody, and I won't mention the names, but other, families from the furniture business, everybody was telling him, you are crazy. I mean, this is not fashion. People, they won't come to a flagship store just because it's Kartell. It's too expensive. There's no way you can make it. Well, nowadays we have 150 flagship worldwide, we have 250 franchisee, and we have 6,000 selling points. So he was right. And another, which when you run the company, there are aspects that they are interesting, but when you run, they drive you crazy. For example, he introduced, we have season. Kartell, we sell furniture, but we have season like the fashion, somehow the fashion concept. So every 4 months, we refresh all our stores. So we have the spring, the fall, the summer, and the winter. Because also this is a part of the Kartell concept. So we don't want to be considered a fashion company, okay? Because we are not fashion. Kartell, it's classic. We are evergreen. We are some products, as I told you, the bougie, for example, or in this picture, you see that chair, there's one low chair, Joe Colombo, designed by Joe Colombo in the 50s. I mean, it's still, I have two in my house. It's still a fantastic piece, super comfortable and very still contemporary. So we are not fashion. We play with the fashion concept. So jump into the last picture. This and probably this underline more this new vision of Kartell. So we are switching. So we start in the 50s, 80s, where we were selling objects. In the 90s concept, now we are selling a lifestyle. So Kartell, it's a lifestyle. It's, as I said, we play with the material, we invest in material, but then there is a concept of comfort and elegance that it's a Kartell lifestyle. Next. Okay, what are we talking about? Well, here we are underlying the concept of the technology and sustainability. So as I said, and for me it's important, especially for you to, well, I know that the majority of you are for sure younger than me, and but you have in front of you a wonderful, wonderful career. I mean, I think you are I've never been creative enough, but the idea of being able to design a project, it's a really nice, it's an interesting profession. But as I said, nowadays, especially nowadays, you have to be focused also not only on the stating, but the full concept. So the technological aspect, also for example, moving the products. I mean, everybody knows Amazon. No matter where you live in the world, Amazon is really changing the rules. Now, when you are a manufacturer, when you are a designer, you cannot ignore how the products move around the world. You cannot ignore the fact that a table is big, heavy. So one of the reasons may be why your next company will ask you, okay, we need a table that is not so heavy and easy to move around. But this is a challenge. This is a challenge, and sometimes a lot of interesting products, they were born because there was a specific needs, especially in the Anglo-Saxon culture. Okay, we Italian are more, let's say, we design an object which we think is wonderful. We don't care about the needs of the market, but it's there and it's wonderful, and then we sell it. But it's true that now the market is changing, so we have to be more and more careful about different aspects. Next, okay, so we will speed up a little because I know that there is a Q&A moment. So I mean, here the last slide of this presentation is on our values, because as a company, especially a company of the size of Kartell, and but not only for it's not just a matter of design. It's good design. It's a concept of good design. So it's a combination of good design, the way you treat people, the way you treat your outsource the product, the way you treat your customer, your employee, and the way you make the concept of the circular economy working. So also these are a fundamental aspect of our business plan. Okay, also here, another concept of the respect. So we are really hammering ourselves, our customer, and everybody with these aspects. So here we can go, so there are 3 projects, okay? So if we can go to the next one, so I can, so this is the wood collection. So as I briefly told you, this is a very interesting and challenging material. So just check the shape. The shape of this armchair is unthinkable. Only Kartell. We are the only company in the world that can shape wood veneer in this way, because we use this technology. As I said, the forest is come from certified forest, is a green product, everything is recycled. We use 30% of energy and 40% less of material thanks to this technology. And this is the reason why we decide to put in our catalog a wood collection. Next one, I think, is okay, this is a very cool project, artificial intelligence. So this chair, so there are 3 aspects of this chair that I love. This chair is made by 100% recycled plastic, but the concept that I told you before, so it's clean recycled plastic. And this chair has been designed by a software together with Philippe Starck. So this is it's a joint venture between us and Philippe Starck to develop a sort of Siri for industrial design. So where this software can learn your needs, because so this is so it's almost 4 or 5 years project. So we said, Philippe Starck said to the machine, to the software, let's say, design something that will support my weight, and it's pretty heavy, Philippe Starck, and use as less material and less energy as possible, okay? So I'm making very short, but this is the result. So this very ergonomic shape is in order to have a strong structure using less plastic as possible. And also this, so this is innovation, for example. This is innovation from an aesthetic point of view and also from a technological point of view. And the last one, I think, is the bio. Bio, this is, I took notes because I always forget. So it's, these are organic biomass. So technically, you can choose that product. So by the way, this is Componibili, and Componibili was designed by Anna Castelli in 1953 or 54. Still one of our best sellers. Now, this is made using this biomass material, which is organic, is you can chew it, okay? Don't do it, but you could. It's coming from agricultural waste. So this material has the same characteristic, the same technical characteristic as plastic material. The big difference is that it's 100% biodegradable. So if you leave that component in your garden, probably 25, 30 years, disappear. The same product using ABS, 500 years is there. Now, why it's interesting? Because both material, if properly used, they have an impact on the environment that is close to zero. Because if you use a plastic material with our quality standard quality, in a proper way, it will last forever. So the footprint goes down to zero. But if you feel more comfortable and you prefer to use or to buy or specify a product, a bioproduct, then 25, 30 years and the product will disappear, go back to the natural cycle. Okay? This is a video on the anniversary of the Componibili. I love it. Okay, so here we have, so going back to the concept, so we are part of different organization, foundation, so we are, let's say, giving back because it has been a lucky family, lucky company, so we are giving back in a different way, which also is, I think, it's important. It's important for this kind of a commitment with the future generation. As I said, especially for the American, North American designer, Green Card, Kartell is a Green Card certified company. 90% of the products are Green Card certified, which means that all the emission and the production cycle is controlled, inspected, and certified, which means that all our products can be specified in LEEDs project. Okay, so this I think it's extremely important. Recyclability, another concept that I think we talked about previously, is important. And as I said, I underline the concept that we use a specific recycled plastic, not just recycled plastic, because recycled plastic is a pretty dirty material. If you use it in a certain way with no chemicals, no paints, then it's clean and cleaner. So the reason why we recently started to use recycled plastic is because the technology wasn't there. But all our products are 100% recyclable. Packaging, also the packaging, as I said, is part of the concept. You cannot manufacture a recycled plastic and then use a packaging that is not recyclable. And this on a note, for example, we always have some problems with the UPS delivery in some countries because the recycled plastic is thinner, okay? And sometimes boxes get get abused. So we are obliged to pack, repack, reinforce. But hopefully one day we will be able to have us to fix also this problem with our friends at UPS. But also packaging is part of the project. So also for me, and this is as a designer, if the chair, just the chair is not enough. The chair, the packaging, the production, everything. Nowadays, especially for you, that young generation, it's a project. It's a project. It's not just a problem. Okay, this is just recap what we talk about in this presentation: the values, the use of material, the certified, the fact that everything is recyclable, starting from the products to the packaging, and also the fact that we are part of different worldwide foundations to support different projects worldwide. So this is a window in our museum.
It's me again. Hi. I have a question.
Sure.
And this is just before we go to the questions and answers part of this from the students. Over the years, Kartell has really ventured into a lot of other categories, such as fashion, with shoes and bags. I even own a pair of Kartell boots. Tell me a little bit about that, how that happened.
Let's say, for us was a sort of an easy experiment given the background of our actual president. So our actual president, Mr. Carveluti, he made his first $1 million in fashion. Okay, so at one point, so there was his fashion background and the new material. So at one point there were these new plastic material that are very soft and sexy, also they have a sexy touch. So they decide to play with this new material, but in a completely different field, fashion. So we put in production bags and shoes. Okay, so these are the two. And it was an interesting experiment. At one point we decide, and we have to be very honest with this, we decide not to invest further in this because we were trying to keep the distribution exclusively for our stores. So not to the big department store, to the fashion retailer. And this was a very strong limitation and probably was a mistake from our side. So basically now the fashion division is a sort of standby. Okay, so but we are keep thinking because I mean there are some products that are super cool, very cool products. But also here the material was this. I mean we have a good, so it's a very soft plastic, very nice.
So also my last question is about the museum itself. And I know Kartell's part of this Museum Pressa, which is an association of industrial design companies. And it goes anywhere from Pirelli tires to Ferragamo to so many different ones. I know Kartell, Alessi, and even Ducati. So can anyone visit the museum?
Yes, so remember this picture, this is the entrance of our museum. So it's a real museum. So it's a 6th-floor museum. Recently, 2 years ago, has been renovated by Ferruccio Labiani. Just some numbers, there are 25,000 students every year visiting the museum. And during Salone, which unfortunately is here, but next year there's going to be a big Salone del Mobile in Milano. And we organize a shuttle bus from downtown Milano to the museum, which is open to the public and it's free. So you just schedule the visit. And it's, I mean, it's incredible because you have, we have most of the prototypes from the 50s until nowadays. So you can see this evolution of how we play with the aesthetic, with the materials, and also the cultural value, as I said, cultural value going back to, so in the 50s, no one talked about sustainability. Now, sustainability is part of the project.
So I think
you're welcome.
Probably go to the students who have a lot of questions for you.
Okay, yeah.
Great. So if you haven't submitted your question yet, go ahead and do so. We have quite a few good ones, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading a few out for you. In terms of design research, what do you predict that the focus will be in the future for this?
So there are two, in terms of research, there are two, there is a, how can I say, okay, what really intrigues me in design is the capacity of some designer, and especially nowadays, especially even after all this emergency, that we have all been forced to live in a room or in an apartment or in a house for so long. So the vision of a designer is to rethink the use of an existing space. For example, who said that a table is just a table? A table can be the kitchen table, a working station, a cooking place, because nowadays we have the technology to transform a table in a cooking top with induction technology. So I would like to see more and more ideas in how to reinvent existing situation, but not only the object, the space. So how can you use the kitchen in a different way, or the living room, or the bathroom? So this is design. So you reimagine a space and you reimagine the objects.
Right. What would you say the most important lesson you've learned during your design career is?
Well, not only my design, getting old is something that I learned to learn what I don't know how to do it. Okay, so I think it's important, especially when you reach a certain level of company. So there are things that I can't do. It's not me. It's not my personality. It's not my mindset. It's important. So, okay, no, this is not me. And this is for your career, for your life. I think it's a general advice that I can give you.
So I know the Louis Ghost chair is really one of the most knocked off designs out there. How is Kartell working to prevent counterfeit production?
Well, this is an interesting question, and it's a huge problem. Let's say, as a company, so there are some legal aspect. So there are legal aspect and cultural aspect. So the legal aspect, when it's possible, when the country where we move recognize this, so there are all the parameter, we register the drawings. But also here, and I don't want to go into technicality, is very complicated because you can register the aesthetic, they change slightly the design, and then it's up to the judge to decide if it's a knockoff or not. Okay, so this is really complicated. But there are two aspects where we strongly believe and invest, and I want to sound really bad, technology. So if, for example, I don't know if you see close to that wonderful photos on my back, okay? That line, Kabuki. Kabuki it's a line designed by Ferruccio. No, this is Tokushi. So it's the industrialization of a 3D prototype. So 3D, you can do whatever you want, takes 5 years, and then you have a line. To industrialize that kind of shape was extremely complicated, okay? And we did it. So this is Kartell. So in order to make a knockoff, they need probably they will do a knockoff within 2 or 3 years. So within 3 years, Kartell will produce something else. So this is we believe is one of the way to fight knockoffs, and plus the culture. So Kartell was one of the founding members of BIOmaterials, because we believe, as I said before, your customer, they don't have the budget for these lights. No problem, there are millions of lights. Just be creative, buy another light, don't buy a knockoff. And this is back to you as a future designer or actor designer.
Absolutely. Where do you think Kartell is heading in the future?
Where we are heading to, we keep growing. We are as I said, we are investing in new materials, new solutions, and so we are in the furniture business. So we are not going in other. But yes, we are keeping our tradition alive, and so we are adding step by step because we don't want to revolutionize our catalog, but we are adding these new materials, and we are really investing. Also, from a financial point of view, we are heavily investing in new materials. So the way of, in particular with the biomaterial is where we see our future.
Speaking of the future, how do you see digitalization playing a role in Kartell's future?
Let's say if by digitalization we mean support, for sure. I mean, it's a combination. Also here, it's a combination of, because at our level, also the glamour, it's very important. And for example, we going back to the market, for example, we at Kartell, we strongly believe in the retail operation. Okay, so not only because we have so many stores, but because I also personally think that makes the difference when you go to a store and you feel the products, you perceive it. So it's an experience. So no matter what, well, I mean, never know how to say that, but digitalization, okay, it's important. It's a tool, okay. So it's a tool to support the distribution, to support presentation like this, for example, in this moment. I mean, this kind of situation, they're perfect. The architects, you make your CAD files, everything. So it's a combination. So one aspect doesn't exclude the other. Online can live together with retail. I don't see a conflict. They can integrate, absolutely.
How long does it take a typical project at Kartell to go from ideation to production?
Let's say, on average, 2 years. Okay, on average, 2 years. So usually depends on the designer and the relation. Can be over a phone. Let's say, Mr. Luti usually every year, okay, gives an input to the group of designers. So, for example, let's work on transparency or reflection, the way lights reflects through the transparency, okay? So somebody will call the designer, so Mr. Luti would like you to think about, and they start to think, okay? And then after 2, 3, 6 months, you start with this drawing, they check the drawings, they check the image, and they start the selection. The year after, there is a prototype, and sometimes we decide to put the prototype immediately in production. Sometimes we like it, and then we discover that there are technical problems. Maybe sometimes takes 2 years to find a solution to fix it. So, but usually on average, if everything goes well, a couple of years, at least a couple of years.
What are some ways you recommend students to explore material?
To study and to be curious. And as I said, let's say, by study, I mean, it's like the painters or the photographer, the artist. Most of them, they were, I mean, Michelangelo, he knew marble. He could see a statue in a block because he knew it. He knew the marble. He knew how to craft it. So you have to do the same. If you use, no matter what you're going to use, plastic, wood, ceramic, I mean, they're incredible new materials or old materials. If you know how they're going to react, how they're going to interact, then you can really design whatever you want. So be curious, and the fact that wood has always been used to do this doesn't mean that you can design this. Try and figure out the solution.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's all that we have time for today. Juju J, I want to say a huge thank you for a very insightful presentation into Kartell and also sharing a little bit of your history and your career path. If students want to learn more about Kartell, you're definitely welcome to visit kartell.com or find them on Instagram at Kartell_official. If you'd like to learn more about Be Original Americas, you can visit beoriginalamerica's.com or visit us on Instagram at BeOriginalUSA. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you. Enjoy.